All right. Welcome to part three, audio editing for Magic Samplitude Music Studio 2014. So, last we left off, we did a a take of both audio, which is in the orange right now, and we did a take of MIDI, which is now in the orange. Now, this one in this episode we'll concentrate on the audio. Let me just get a little closer up here. Uh, Now you can see that basically everywhere where you see a red tick here will be the sound of the metronome. Now the reason why it's apparent is because it came through on the recording of my microphone. So we'll do a little bit of editing in order to get rid of some of that. But first I would like you to, take a look at this this take, this audio take, and you'll notice that there is a little dot on the bottom corner here. And you also notice that when my cursor goes over top, it changes drastically. If you go to the top, what it is indicating is that it will edit this tab up here, which will adjust the sound level, the gain level of the take itself. You'll see that there is like a left and a right channel, because when we recorded this, it was in stereo. And of course, I got Dwayne here, my counterpart, Skyping me on Skype. So I'll be right back in a sec. All right, sorry about that. So, like I was saying, when your cursor goes up to the top here, it changes so that you can start editing the volume of your take. Over here in the corner, you have this will fade in or out the volume. So if you draw it back like so, you can see that our take is declining in volume. It's good for a fade out kind of effect. And in the beginning here, it does the same thing, only it fades in. Also, you'll see that down in the bottom corner here, I think I just mentioned this, that there is a end position here for the object. You can pull that back and shorten the take, or bring it back to full and lengthen the take. It goes on until the take ends. Now, also, this effect is also in the beginning of your take as well, from the bottom left hand corner here. Just grab it and pull it in. Now, I'm going to show you how to cut this take into little pieces, but keep in mind it is not destructive. So let's put our cursor, let's say at the beginning here, right when it starts going do, re, mi, okay? And we want to cut out all of these marks here, which are the metronome sounds. So with this take being selected, it's orange, you hit the T key on your keyboard and it will cut this in half, well, in where your shuttle is currently located. And you see that only this part of our take is selected. The other part of our take, we can select that too. what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this, drag this over here just for a moment, just so you can see something. Even though it's been cut and you see it, there's a big space in between the two of them. I will pull this out and you will see we still have those tick marks still over here from the metronome. Even though I've cut it, it's basically not actually cutting it to destroy it. It is just cutting it so that it's in a manageable chunk. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this by saying delete that. So now when we listen to the sound, it will listen to the take. It will only play do, re, mi, fa, sol. Of course, you can still hear the metronome because I still have it enabled. Now, in easy mode, you hit the recording and then you end up switching off the metronome from there. Go back into editing mode and you're back into the track view here. Whoop. Double clicking, you can see I accidentally selected a section of the track here. That means when it reaches that area, you can have it loop in that specific area where it's blue. Just double click and it'll clear off that spot. So let me get back into the track here and make this track a little larger. Now I can select this track and go to, say, let's go to this end of the take here, and I will, not the end of the take, end of the first do. I will hit the T again, and then I will click here, because my cursor will instantly stop because I have the snap on. You can see at the bottom here it says snap on off. I have the snap on, so with that I can freely go about my business cutting right at the 8th note mark of each part. The shuttle will snap instantly to the 8th mark of each beat. And we'll go through, we'll chop all of this up. Just go along, chop, chop, chop. There is a way to automate this. If you wish, you can do that. But that's in a little bit more advanced features. Now that I have cut out most of this, cut it all up. I've cut it into pieces. I will start deleting the metronome ticks, which is on every second one here. So you can either hit the delete key on your keyboard, or you can go ahead and right click on it and hit delete on each one. So you can also select several of them, or here, let me just select with the control, and I believe do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That would be the last one there. And for those who are curious and why I'm using do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, that's the basic building blocks of music, if you did not know that. When I teach guitar, that's one of the first things I teach people. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Because if you don't know that, you're not going to have a very good time learning how chords are made and stuff like that. Anyways, back on track here. Now let's take a listen to our track here, but of course we have the metronome switched off. So we will play it through just to see what it sounds like. Oh, hold on a sec here. we still have a click in there. So we'll just get rid of that and delete. Now, we can go in here and tidy this up a little bit by getting a little bit more close up and personal with each take. We can do something like this and fade off the beginning so we get rid of the tick, or get rid of the more apparent sound of the tick on whenever my voice shows up, like so. This is one way you can edit stuff. And let's go a little bit further because we have some more here to do. Click at the bottom to select. You click on the top, you're just moving the shuttle around to the next location. And click near the bottom here and fade off the tick. Now, this is kind of a cheap way of doing the editing. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Whoop. All right, that's one way. I'm also going to show you using the pen to edit these. But first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of these and I am going to do something destructive. I'm going to glue all of these together and make them into one take. So let's back off here so we can see the whole thing. Grab them all. You can either scroll across to grab them all like so, or you can select them individually, or you can select this one and go all the way to the end, hit your shift key and select everything like that. And I will make sure my cursor is on top of one of these, and I can right click and say edit and glue objects. So now you see that this entire take is now, well, the entire 8 takes are now one full take. And this is irreversible unless you do a Control Z and it will reverse that. Control Z. There you go. But we can also redo as well. We have an undo and redo, so we can redo right away. Now, you can also edit by wave editing. Now, what this will do is it will open up a window over top of your interface. When I first did this, I thought it was actually putting, it was taking me out of Samplitude, but it isn't. It just puts you into a another window inside. So when you're done this, you click your close window up there, up in the top corner, and it's not actually going to close your entire project. It will just close off the wave file that you are editing. So let's get in a little closer here, and we'll see that we can start editing away on our wave file here. We can chop out stuff if we want to. We can use the a pen to go ahead and edit this. So what we do here is right click and we can go to draw volume, and you can start drawing down the wave. So you can bring it down. You can see I've brought it down so that the tick is no longer apparent. And you can do this all the way through and edit each wave so that you no longer have the tick on left or right. So I'm just basically doing this quickly so you can follow along. I'm just dragging the cursor down with my pen on each side, left and right, and getting rid of each metronome click that way. Now you can get real finicky here and really do a great job on it. But right now I'm trying to get this done as quickly as possible here, all the way through, so that I can show you that you can also alter the pitch. And it's a lot easier to go ahead and start altering pitches when you've got a full wave file to work with. Although it's also easier to work on a smaller chunk of a wave file than it is to work on a huge wave file when adjusting pitches and that sort of thing. So it'd be best for anybody who's first using Samplitude wants to adjust pitches, which I'm going to do, to adjust them when they have a smaller chunk of a wave to work on. So if you can keep them within, you know, let's say 4 measures, then you'll have an easier time than trying to edit a minute's worth of wave file in the pitch shifting. All right, I think I'm done here. I can go back and we can play it. You can still hear a little bit of the metronome. Of course, if I really wanted to get rid of it, I could. I would have to go in and really erase everything in the beginning of each of those syllables. All right, I'm done here, so I'll click the off. So now we're back into our regular interface again, and this time I will right-click on this and I will say Effects. And I will go to pitch. We'll do the vocal tune on it. So there we go. It analyzes the whole thing, and you can play through just to see what it looks like on the piano roll here. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And you can see that my do at the end is actually in 2 notes there. So we're going to start with C. We're doing the C major scale. And remember, the rules of do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do is your mi and fa and your ti and do are always sticking it out together. They're buddies. So do, skip, re, skip. Mi and fa are both together. Mi, fa. So, la. Let's move up a little bit. And ti and do. See, ti and do are both together on the piano roll. You can see that. Always remember that, kids. Mi and fa and ti and do are always next to each other on the keyboard. So, you have a little bit of a uh, naturalness slider here. So right now it'll probably sound like a bit like a robot. So let's just check that out. Let me just grab this little guy here and bring him up here as well. Let's play it so we can hear. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. All right. Sounds kind of weird. So we'll go ahead and give it about a 50% on the slider here and listen to it again. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. All right. So you sacrifice a little bit of pitch for the naturalness. And we'll try this again, see what it sounds like. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Okay, so it's not exactly 100% auto tune, but if you're dealing with a singer that can't keep in key, this would help a little bit. You just don't rely on it 100% because you just really it is hard to get a natural sounding pitch bend out of it. Oh, this doesn't do too bad of a job. So let's okay that for now. So also, if we had kept this separated in instances, well, we can actually do that here. Let's do something tricky here. Let's go ahead and hit the T key. So now we've got this divided into two pieces. Now let's say I wanted to put an echo on this. So let's go into effects and we go ahead and give it a delay. So we'll go ahead and use the EFX stereo delay here. Click on that. And we go ahead and use maybe there's a default here that we can use. We'll use a Sweet Echo 1.8 dot, and let's go ahead and see what that sounds like. I'll turn that off because I know it's going to echo, but it will only affect this instance, this take by itself, and it will echo all the way through. So let's go back to the beginning here and play. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And in case you didn't really hear that, it did a really neat ping pong effect in case you didn't really pick that up, because what you're picking up is through my microphone, through the speakers. This shows you that each instance can be the echo affects this take here, but it does not affect over here. You can use something entirely different on here. We can maybe do something like let's say we'll do distortion. Let's go ahead and use some vintage distortion on here. We'll use something in a preset right now just to make it quick. We'll use a Vocal Industries, so I'll sound like something like in 9 Inch Nails maybe. I doubt it, but that's what we'll put in here. Now we'll go back to the beginning and hit the play. Of course, there's a bit of a delay here because I'm utilizing a do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. I'm utilizing an older processor on here, and I'm also recording a rather large area of my screen. Yes, I sound like I want to be a screamo artist on here. So you can see that from what you heard, the beginning of the take, um, we'll have the echo, and you can tell that the rest of it's gone into screamo mode with the distortion. So this is what it means to individually affect each object inside your take um, differently. Thus, also, you can affect the entire track with a VST instrument editor, let's say for actually not the editor. That's for when you have an actual VST that's hooked up in here. Let's go into effects here, and now we can go ahead and add like an effect to the entire. Um, let's see what we do. Yeah, let's use the vocal quadrupler on here just for kicks, just for giggles. And now we will go back to make sure we're shuttles back and hit play. So I don't know if you heard that effect, but it affects the entire track. Um, if you wanted to see this in the entire mixer, hit the letter M and it'll bring up your mixer. I will shorten up this mixer so you can see all of it in the screen. Now this is this is a lot different than the mixer that you would be seeing in the screen over here. Let me just show you that just for a second. Go back to this mixer. You can see that it's already telling you that the vocal quadrupler is on here as the effect, and this is the only take that we're working on here is number one. Number two has stuff on it as well, which is the piano. This is a very simple interface. Let's go back into editing again and hit the M, and of course as soon as it comes up it shows you the entire thing stretched out across my screen. You got your auxiliary designators. So if you create an auxiliary track which you want to funnel, say all of your vocals, say it's like 4 tracks of vocals, you can funnel them all into one single auxiliary track. As soon as you go ahead and create an auxiliary one, it will add this to the end of the right now. We have 16 tracks, but I scrolled it over so it says it's got an auxiliary over here, and my first track is actually being funneled over there. I can also funnel this one over to auxiliary one as well if I wish to, and both of them will be affected by this auxiliary track, whether or not I want to bring it up or down, or if I want to add more effects in here, that sort of thing. You can do that. So it's one way to go ahead and funnel through more effects into a group of things. Say if you were doing a drum ensemble, like your drum kit in its entirety, you can go ahead and EQ away at each individual piece of equipment and then funnel them all through into an auxiliary track, and then through that auxiliary track give the whole thing the same reverb, so you give it that room effect, and that will work. It works very well, and I would recommend that if to use auxiliary tracks in that way in order to get a common effect occurring on a group of tracks. So let's see what else maybe I can show you. Yeah, also in the mixer, um, you can add different effects. Let's see some of this stuff here. Um, let's go to let's see, effects. You can add um, you can copy effects from one area to another. You can also drag them. We'll open this up a little bit more. You can also drag. You can see it's already got a stereo effect affecting here. You can go ahead and grab it and bring it over here to the to the piano roll if you want, or you can just get rid of it like so. Um, you can also add in VST effects, and I'll bring up one of my favorites here, the CS12M, which is neat for giving gritty noises and that sort of thing. Um, it comes with a saturator, compressor, an exciter. It also gives you a variance on the output, the gain on the output. It's got its own EQ, so you can go ahead and utilize a high pass filter on here as well, or low pass filter. There's different effects they can do here. You can crank up the highs on it or whatever. It's a great little free effect that you can find. But you can add your VSTs in through that way. So you can see we have the CS12M already in there, and you have slots here for 4. That doesn't limit you. You still have FX slot down here as well. It's the same with Magic's Music Maker. It also has FX slots all over the place. And in some cases, like say for instance the Revolver, like PV Revolver, you'll only find PV Revolver on one end of your FX slot, and you probably won't find it in um, the effect slots up here. So some of your VSTs will be hiding in specific areas where they're best utilized. So just keep that in mind. If you don't see your VST effect right away and you're going, oh, where the heck is it? I've already gone through, refreshing all my VST folders and everything, and it still doesn't come up. Well, it will probably come up at a different spot altogether. So just keep that in mind. It may be in the end here in the master. Whoop. Let's see. Oh, we can upgrade now to Samplitude Pro X, which I don't want to. Go back to the studio here, because I just don't have $500 to spend right now. So yeah, additional plugins here, right there instead for the mastery effects and that sort. This is there's a lot here that you'll just have to go ahead and dig in and try different things yourself. So it's a learning experience, and if you want to learn how to mix, I'm not the person to learn off of. I am learning myself, and I can say if you want to learn, I recommend going to Recording Revolution. Graham has a whole pile of videos which gets into this level of recording. Even though he's using another DAW altogether, everything still pertains to what we're doing here. And a lot of what he's showing you can do very easily using Samplitude. So that is it for basic editing right now. Like I say, you can move this around. You can go ahead and switch things up. You can put dough at the end here, so we got a double dough. You can mush things together on the interface here, and and make them fade in and out to each other. Let's do that like so. And you can see that the crossfade into each other works like that. Um, there's a lot of things that you can do. So um, just by right clicking on here, you'll find all kinds of ways to modify your track and then go further in the wave editing like I had shown, erasing most of the metronome tick marks in the wave editor with the pen. And there is a lot of tools in there. So we can go endlessly for hours on this, but I believe 35 minutes is enough for lesson 3 so far. Um, Maybe we'll get into some more details maybe later on a tutorial on the, say, going to the professional view of this interface. And of course you can see here you can move stuff around, put like my chromatic tuner over here, and maybe I want to put my recording track over here instead. And although it's not very space efficient, but you can do all that stuff if you want. You can totally switch out your interface to make it look the way you want it. I'm going to put my chromatic tuner up here and then give it some more room here. So, yeah, interesting stuff, I guess. Fool around, play around with it. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do with this. They say as you go along, you can merge stuff together. You can grab all of this and glue it all back together again. And of course, if I do that right now, all those effects that I've added to each of these, the distortion and everything, will also um, be permanent as well. So you can see it bouncing the track, and you can see it's done its thing here, and we will play it back so you can listen to it again. There you go. So you see all those effects are permanently etched into this wave file called Take One now. Also, keep in mind that your takes are still alive and kicking in your wherever you've designated your recording um, to be saved at. So you can always go back and grab the track and enter it back in if you need to go ahead and redo something. So keep that in mind. It still saves the originals in the folders. All right, we'll see you on editing MIDI files next. Bye.